Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, of course, there's always a lot going on. We want to keep abreast of it. All right, I just did a reading, and you'll see it on YouTube about Trump taking money and information from foreign governments, and him being perfectly all right with that. So we did that reading. But I do want to read more on Mitch McConnell. And he showed up in that reading, by the way. So Mitch is now smirking, as he calls himself, the Grim Reaper, to end a lot of House proposals, House bills, and make sure they're not brought to the Senate floor. And the latest of these has to do with a bill that was written to prevent people from receiving information from foreign governments to affect elections and to make sure they would report it to the FBI. And he's not letting that come to the floor, and he's so very proud. So apparently Schumer called him the Grim Reaper, and he thought that was funny and cute. So he's reiterated it. He is the Grim Reaper. I think he may have been jealous of Steve Bannon being the Grim Reaper on SNL, that looks like a much more imposing force than a turtle that the SNL has kind of brought out regarding Mitch. So what the heck is going on with Mitch? I feel like he's sort of a con man, a criminal unmasked at this point. You know what I mean? He's not even trying to cover it up, and he's gleefully happy he has a president who understands him and he understands the president. Is that too cynical, Spirit? What is going on with Mitch? He has killed all kinds of good bills. He's refused to allow the reauthorization of a bill against violence toward women. He's refused to allow that to get reauthorized, re-upped on the floor. There are so many others that were bipartisan efforts that everybody agreed upon was a good idea that he's just killed anyway. So it's just, he obviously wants governmental officials to operate with impunity and do whatever they please. So what's going on with Mitch McConnell? Okay, right now, in the current position, is the fool. I think this is two ways. I think he does feel kind of gleeful, like, ooh, this is a new beginning. I have a position of power here, and I like it. There's that. How far can I take this? I feel like he's also foolish, though. He also is foolish. He's not realizing that there aren't as many people who could care less, aren't as many people devoid of conscience in the world as he thinks there are. He's forgetting. He's finding so many like him right now, but he's forgetting they're not all like him. His outward characteristic is the devil, greed, and avarice. It's all about the money for Mitch. We know that. It's all about the money, all about the power. His inward characteristic, oh boy. Okay, so Spirit is got a lot of truths in there. And they are rattling around. He's thinking about them. There are things that could come out, and they're on his mind. Spirit is also tempting him to be more truthful with himself. He's not having it. The Ace of Swords, these aces are a lot of times opportunities for something new, like truth, revelation, intelligence, those kinds of things. But people have to grab them. People have to pick them up. His goal, 5 of Cups. That's interesting. He's looking backwards. There are some things that he, kind of revenge is his goal in a way. There are some things that he sees as injustices to him, defeats that he has had, that he does not like. And I believe he's angry with the Democratic Party. Yes, and he wants to get revenge. So when all of this stuff he has against, this whole I've got to win. I've always felt it's like a weird sort of he wants to be the winning team. He wants to be the quarterback of the winning team. It is about, some bile, some bitterness he has over previous defeats. Like 2018, right? He thinks he's looking back at that and he's thinking he's going to regain ground. Guess what? Not with this card. Not with that card. Not with the Five of Cups. Nothing really good comes out of the Five of Cups. Sometimes we go back and we grieve a loss that maybe needed to be grieved a bit again, but then we should always turn right around and look at what's coming up, what's ascending, the two cups, the full cups. And cups are about emotion. We should always turn right back around. He doesn't want to turn right back around. He wants to get some revenge. He wants to right what he sees as wrongs or win, substitute victories for defeats. Oh my, that really bothered him in 2018. Huh, because he's number one, so how could there be a blue wave, right? Oh, this is upside down. Okay, so we have the Page of Swords reversed here, you guys. So, Page of Swords reversed. That usually means, okay, the Page of Swords can mean a new plan or a new form of communication. But it can also mean immature speaking, speaking out of turn, speaking without thinking, aggressive speaking without thinking. And since it's upside down, I'm thinking that's what it means. So, or aggressive thinking without a plan, without temperance. So his motivation is not good. He is not, he thinks he's so smart, but he's not being smart right now. All right, what's at stake is the victory. Okay, so here, the Knight of Swords, that whole attitude that they've had, and this came up a lot with Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing too, that whole attitude they've had that we're going to win. We're just going to do it. We're going to push it. We're going to push the envelope. It doesn't really matter what former norms were. We're going to push it and we're going to get it. That's at stake for him. He's being stupid. There is something going on with him where he is not being that smart. And usually he is pretty smart. But then again, you don't want to overestimate that, because how smart can people be who have no wisdom and really do believe that money and power is the be all and end all? How smart can they be? You know what I mean? So we want to be careful not to overestimate that. Smart is not wise. I was just thinking of Forrest Gump for some reason. Stupid is as stupid does. That's words of wisdom for eternity. Okay, so his flaw or his need. Look at, this is what's plaguing him. The Queen of Swords is plaguing him. I apologize for the glare here too, you guys. I know we have a glare on the cards. But the Queen of Swords is plaguing him. And that's his problem right now, he feels. It's the Queen of Swords. All of those female politicians, female voters, can be male too, just giving all this information and demanding truth, demanding justice, demanding they be heard. Doesn't like that very much. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is an example of this, but there are so many of them. And we have the Five of Swords, or the Five of Wands, for the source of that. The political debate, he does not like that. Oh man, they need to speak up more and more. He doesn't like him getting coverage. He doesn't like him being able to talk. He doesn't like him being able to talk about his wife, Elaine Chao. He does not like the journalists. This is sometimes journalists. Boy, he doesn't like it. The Ten of Wands. He gets mad too, you guys. He gets mad. And he gets all butthurt, like, oh, they're so unfair to me. He does. He has a victim stance going on. So, okay, yeah, even though he can smirk and call himself the Grim Reaper and thinks it's so funny. Ten of Wands is the effect this has upon this flaw, being really having a hard time standing up to the truth from these people, has upon his goal of revenge or, righting the injustices he's encountered. It becomes very burdensome. Very burdensome. He's got so many things he's working on. He's got so many things. So many goals. He's not focused because there is an emotional component to him, to what he's doing, and it's not healthy. Yeah, look there's no cups of joy here at all. There's just loss he's focusing on. The two positive aspects of this reading, freeing, liberating, would be the Ace of Swords and these two cups ascending. emotional fulfillment, ascending, and let's look at that. But he is not looking at either. He's not taking this one, and he's not looking at those. So he is not a happy man. He is a preoccupied man. He is unfocused. He is too guided by greed, avarice, self-pity, revenge. This isn't a good reading. This is not a good reading. Okay, so for him, but that's okay, because do we want him to keep on being the Grim Reaper? No. It's a good reading for us. For we who would like to see that kind of attitude stop. Okay, so the Fool right now, currently, in the past, Seven of Cups, a lot of illusion, a lot of confusion, a lot of delusion. I thought I was going to see somebody who's more together than this, actually, but no, I'm not. So these things he's doing, smirking and saying, when somebody asked him, well, what would you do if there was a Supreme Court justice opening right now in this, coming up to the election? And he said, well, I'd feel it. And then he smirks, similar to how he smirks when he's the Grim Reaper. He doesn't realize that costs him politically. He's under some illusion about how much power and security he has. We have the Judgment card in the future. Not good. Not good for his chances of re-election, you guys. Judgment's falling on him. Clarity. He might get clear about how much trouble he really is in, that he thinks he's not. He thinks he's above it. But judgment's going to fall on him. I do think there's, I don't know that he's in jail or anything. I think it's judgment falls on him, and he's seen his reputation is quite sullied at the end of this, because even other fellow Republicans will distance themselves from him. He thinks he's headed like to the Supreme Court or something. I mean, he thinks he's, I don't know if he's an attorney or not or what, but he thinks he's headed to some exalted position in politics, and he is not. Yeah, because he's trapped in all that he's done, all that he's said, all those sound bites, all those decisions. He's trapped in that. He does not go down in history as a good person. He does not go down in history as a good politician. He goes down in history as a symptom of the problem, the corruption that we've had. So